Hey everyone, we wanted to connect here today on social media, and this video will certainly be published everywhere. But I'm here with Robby Besner from Therasage, and of course, I'm Stephen Cabral from EquiLife, the founder of EquiLife and the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. But we're both really excited to be here with you today because we have a big announcement between EquiLife and Therasage. But before we get into that, I would love, Robbie, for you to share a little bit about yourself, your background, and maybe for your community, I'll do the same as well.
Okay. Well, basically, it goes back maybe 35 years ago or more. I have a few different skill sets I've developed over the years in the health sciences in particular, undergrad and postgrad with doing biology and psychology and various different studies in undergrad, also engineering and a little bit of business. Postgrad, did some pre-medical work at Case Western Reserve. I was out in Cleveland, took a leave of absence and decided to go into more business pursuits until my daughter, about 30 years ago, not quite, 25 years ago, contracted Lyme disease. And when she got sick, I kind of took a backseat to my activities in business and became her in-house nurse, her in-house practitioner, as we were coordinating with her practitioners that were then located in different states. Of course, we didn't have what we have now, telemedicine and virtual practices and so forth. And so at that moment in time, 25 years ago, Lyme was somewhat less understood, and there were less Lyme literate doctors. And so we found the best doctor available at the time and still considered one of the best in the industry, Dr. Joe Briscano. And that meant that we were traveling to New York. We were visiting his practice. Then we'd come back. He'd have correspondent practitioners in South Florida. And so we were coordinating all those activities. It became very clear to me early on that the onus on managing your health is really with the individual and their family unit. Even though you see a practitioner and you get guidance from the practitioners, it's still really the emphasis is on you. And so when I looked at that and I looked at my daughter's symptoms and she expressed high levels of toxicity, inflammation, cognitive challenges, some body pain, I started to look at that and somehow centered on best methods to detox and discovered that there are certain frequencies of sunlight, the infrared spectrum, that will actually mobilize all the toxins in your body. That was a revelation. So then, thinking now, wow, I've discovered the Holy Grail. I went to the next step, saw what was available for the mainstream Americans to be able to purchase in the way of infrared technology, and discovered that from a medical and healthcare point of view, it was really only being utilized by sports medicine doctors to help players lower the thresholds of pain and to recover from acute injuries faster, get back on the field. Yes. So even though some of those things intrigued me, there really wasn't a lot of devices available. And so I organized a trip, went to Asia for about 2.5 months, visited 65 factories, found 2 or 3 that I wanted to work with, and started developing devices mostly for home use. Julia had such great results, and now she had a team of practitioners. So at that point, they said, hey, Robbie, can you make some of these for our practices? And that was really the genesis of our company. And so we're now about 23 years old as a company. We're focused on harnessing energy medicine, which is just basically infrared spectrum of sunlight, and putting it into various different devices that are affordable, they're portable, and they're real solutions to today's problems, and what we consider to be part of what all of us need, in a sense, to create a primal healing platform. And so, like yourself, I love what you're doing because we're running on parallel roads together. And your background, my background, the way we look at the world, integrated functional medicine is a big part of the way we look at things. Even though we believe that allopathic and conventional medicine has a place, it's just not necessarily the first go-to. And understanding root cause and understanding how the body expresses itself is a really fundamental piece to us in understanding and putting that puzzle back together and getting people into a position where they have optimal health and live out their lives as I believe nature and our deliverers have intended us to be.
Yeah, 100%. And I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, your most popular and flagship product is your portable infrared sauna. And
that's correct.
that I know a couple of years back actually went through another upgrade. And one of the amazing things that I found about it is that it is like literally it is a pop-up. You could store it away under a couch, in a eave, like I have it up in my place in Maine, and put it together in literally under a minute, or keep it out if you want. And the other thing is that it's low EMF, low to no EMF, which for a lot of these devices that cannot be said. And there's also a lot of the other pop-up ones that I've seen have a lot of off-gassing. So you can just smell the VOCs and all the chemicals, and you're breathing that in. And it's great that you're doing an infrared sauna to help detox. But when you're toxifying your body at the same time as doing a detox, to me, it never made a whole lot of sense. The other thing that I want to say is that one of the reasons why I've recommended the Therasage sauna for some time now is that it is thousands of dollars less than the average sauna and will get you the same results, if not more, because of the strength of the actual infrared inside of it. So I'd love you to just to share a little bit about that product, and then I'll talk about how EquiLife can hopefully help now complement to that, because we see it as a really nice synergist.
Sure, of course. And so do we. So basically, there are core pillars to basically all the devices we make. Low EMF is, or no EMF is one of them. But what's unique about the Thera360 Plus version, our latest version, is that we've actually remediated from ELF, extreme low frequencies, and also RF frequencies. So essentially all of the exogenous man-made frequencies that are disrupting our neurological systems, our autonomic nervous systems, and certainly slowing down the healing process. There, I can go into exhausting studies that talk about the blood levels of microbial activity that's stimulated by exogenous frequencies like EMF. So that's a big topic. And we actually started remediating 17 years ago. But our latest version of remediation is what I'm really excited about, is actually harmonizing the body and building your own body defense and natural field, body field, energy field to protect yourself. And that technology is installed in the Thera360. We also have a tri-light system that we invented, which is basically, I took the formula of the way nature delivers and the sun delivers infrared spectrum to the planet. And that was our running formulation for the beginning to about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Then I started to notice that people were expressing themselves with high levels of oxidative stress and also mitochondrial dysfunction. And so they were low energy. They weren't producing enough nitric oxide. As we know, when we're aging, we start making less of that. And so there are certain light frequencies that actually will support the natural healing and of producing nitric oxide, creating vasodilation, and also improving your body's ability to hold on to oxygen, which I think is a key for anti-aging and longevity, and to create a healthy terrain for your body, and not such a strong host for pathogens and other invaders. So what we've done is we've actually created the tri-light system. It's a enhanced LED. So most LEDs, or light emitting diodes, are monochromatic, meaning one light frequency per bulb. We created actually a diode that has 3 frequencies, very hand-picked selective frequencies that support mitochondrial health and body health, generally body health. So we added the tri-light system to the Thera360 to sort of shift the natural cocktail as we know it, mostly because the world is very different now than we knew it from way back when, right? We have a really toxic environment, glyphosate in our water, air, and food, chemtrails, GMOs, a whole bunch of different battles that we have to fight aside from our own aging process and our own genetics, plus our personal choices. The other thing, we use natural materials, so there isn't any VOCs. That's really important. We also include gemstones that are integrated in our fabrics and also are very apparent because they generate what's called a negative ion, which is like a grounding effect, another energetic enhancement. So the synergies of all these energies and the ability to sit in our sauna for 30 minutes and get that piece of nature into your body every day at the convenience of you in your own home doesn't take up space. So if you have a challenge there, you can just as you said, you can fold it up and put it away. And if not, like we do, we just leave it out in our living room, and it's there as a reminder every day to make sure that we put a little piece of that detoxification and in our health, in our normal lifestyle routine.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, it is that easy to use because it heats up also, I found within 10 minutes versus taking a half hour for me to heat up my barrel sauna or something else as well. So a really great compliment. And so just a bit about my background, probably not wildly dissimilar, but instead of, that health scare happening to your daughter, it happened to me. So when I was 17, and I'll do the 10-year summary in under 1 minute, but I got extremely sick. So my immune system was shutting down. I had swollen glands over my entire body. Went to the best doctors around Boston, Massachusetts, because I lived right outside of Boston, and no one had any idea what was wrong with me. It took 2 years to eventually do more in-depth diagnostic work after seeing 24 different specialists to find out I had Addison's disease, type 2 diabetes, POTS, fibromyalgia. It's called myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is simply walking around like a zombie with flu-like symptoms, and something called mastocytosis or mast cell activation syndrome. So I walked around every day with absolutely no energy, couldn't produce cortisol, which is a natural anti-inflammatory as well. We know too much cortisol is bad, but not producing any is really bad as well. And so what I found is that conventional medicine could give me a handful of pharmaceuticals like Cortef and Florinef for the POTS and other things, Benadryl and Claritin D for allergies. But at the same time, I didn't feel great then either. I just had a different side of the spectrum, almost hyperactive. And right about the same time, this is in the late 90s to early 2000s, the internet's coming along. And so all the bad things about the internet, well, there's a lot of good, and because there's the spread of information. Now, the spread of information also means the spread of misinformation, because there's a lot of misinformation about health out there as well. But what I was able to do was connect with multiple practitioners that brought in a truly integrative approach. And then I finally met my mentor, Dr. Pete, who pulled it all together with functional medicine lab testing, Ayurvedic medicine, so blending the best of state of the art with the best of 6,000 years of natural health and science. And I got well, within 6 months of meeting her. And so it was pretty amazing that it was a 9.5-year journey to finally get that last piece. But the last piece wasn't as wild as people think it is. It was simply combining about a half a dozen to a dozen foundational principles at a baseline into one. And a lot of that came about with really fixing my gut, detoxifying my body, and getting back in a lot of the methylated B vitamins and things that I was missing as well. So it's remarkable that I always say that it's not our job. And again, along the way, a lot of different certifications, board certified doctor of naturopathy, all that fun stuff. But what I say is that it's not my job as a doctor. It's not your job as an inventor and healer and all these things to help people heal. We simply put their bodies in position to heal, and the body heals itself. I have nothing to do with it. I remove the toxicities, just like you, and I help replace those deficiencies. And the body then, if it has the raw material and we get out of its way, can begin to heal itself. So what you've done with Therasage is I look at it as, okay, first we need to empty the rain barrel, right? So I talk about emptying that rain barrel all the time. Well, how do you empty the rain barrel? Sweat, huffing it off through oxygen and carbon dioxide through the lungs, through the liver, right? That moves into the bowels then through bowel movements, and the kidneys excrete urine, right, through the bladder and out through the body. So what Therasage has done is, and we talked a little bit about the infrared, which gets really in depth, so we'll save that for another show, but you've got people don't realize this, but sauna mimics cardiovascular exercise.
Right.
You're actually getting the benefits of cardiovascular exercise when you do a hot sauna. And you're sweating, and people don't sweat anymore. There's not really people doing manual labor. Like there's just not, it's not happening to that degree. So what I think that we've done, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we're putting together a functional medicine detox through EquiLife, which is ramping up phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox. And we could talk more about that in the future, and helping the kidneys to excrete more through urine as well. So we've got the sweat, we've got the lungs, we've got the liver, and we've got the kidneys covered with a Therasage sauna, the infrared inside of it as well, plus a functional medicine detox and using that daily nutritional support. So I don't know why it took us so long to put this together. I think it's like a beautiful complement of companies trying to do some good in this world with our communities. But the truth is that we are not the best at sauna and that external, like hardware-based devices, and you guys are. And what we do is we hopefully bring that functional medicine and naturopathic-based perspective as well. So that's my take on how we've come together, and I would love to hear yours as well.
Well, I believe it's the universe. And even though we've known each other for many years, we needed to go through our own processes to get to the point where we were sort of ripe, and the time is now.
Yes.
But just yesterday I was being interviewed on another summit, and this was about root cause, and it was about the quick fix. And it occurred to me, this is part of the psychology of today. What can we do? Like, what's the magic bullet? And the truth is, in my opinion, is it's actually us. It's our bodies. Once you tune your body up and you get all of your systems online, which between your interventions, your amazing protocols and the supplements that you've created, and the hardware, the actual foundational pieces of how Therasage has harnessed nature and brought it into your home, the convenience of your own home. I think that's really the trifecta, frankly. I think that's the combination that really will make a difference. And once we can jumpstart the body, once we can get us into a primal healing platform, and the body is tuned up, we get your body online, which between the two of us, we figured that part out. I think the true fast way for recovery is just having your body do all the heavy lifting as nature intended us to be.
Yes.
So I'm so excited about the opportunity for us to work together on a much, much closer level, not just from what we've done independent of one another, but the discoveries that we're going to make together and the synergies of the way that all of our bodies of work will work in order for us to bring this expression of true health and true healing to the public so that they can do it at home, they can figure it out. They don't have to get kind of drawn into a lot of the big pharma, situations out there, and they can really see real change. And more importantly, Dr. Cabral, what I love is we teach the parent teaches the children. And so we can actually influence the future generations and put us into a position where we're actually a nation of true health and well-being.
Yeah, that's really well put. And I agree with the same thing. I have an 8 and 10-year-old, 2 daughters right now, and it really, they have to see us. Like, they have to see us doing it. That's the important thing, is because you can tell your kids all you want, but they're really watching your actions. And so when they see my wife go on a walk first thing in the morning, right? And they see me do a sauna. It's like they're not old enough yet to do that sauna, but they see me doing it. They want to do it, but they're just not at that point yet. That really does teach the next generation. And inside of which we're not going to get into today, but the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, which we're doing right now, is integrative, right? It's funny because our motto is actually a health coach in every home, because just like
Right.
you have 168 hours per week. Even if you were to talk with your IHP, your health coach, your doctor, whoever it might be, it's probably 1 hour a week maximum. Maybe if you're working with like a nutritionist, personal trainer, maybe 2, but you're with you for 166 other hours, right? And so that's the important thing, is that, there has to be one person in every home to then teach their siblings or their parents or their kids. And just that's where it starts to spread. And for me, I see it as, okay, start with that Occam's razor. Like, what's the simplest thing you could do? Well, the simplest thing that you could do is an infrared sauna to sweat every day, or at least 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week, because that's what the studies show, for at least 20 minutes. Okay. Now, if you did that, combined with a 21-day EquiLife detox, at the end of those 21 days, you're not going to feel a little bit better. You're going to feel remarkably better, because what you did was you just reset your baseline. You're not dealing with all of the inflammation and toxicity that your body has to deal with on an everyday basis. So a lot of times, I think, and this will be the last thing I say, philosophy is like, you put more in. Okay, I have no problem with putting more in, but you have to get it out first. You have to get the stuff out that's blocking everything, that's weighing your body down. I always keep my mannequin right on my desk here, but this liver right here, every 6 minutes, it's cleaning all the blood in your body. Well, if it has less to clean, you're going to naturally have more energy. You're going to have glowing skin. You're going to have better sleep at night. You won't be waking up throughout the night. So I think that you're basically sweating everything out, huffing it out through the lungs. Detox is helping the liver, the 2 kidneys behind here. And that's why, again, I'm super excited about this. I've already been doing it myself. I'm just glad now to be able to share it with both of our communities.
Yes, me too. And wow, the best is yet to come. That's the only way I feel about it. Ever since we started embarking on this discussion, been having a little bit of creative downloads. And I do really believe that together, even independent, we're doing some very meaningful things. But I think the combination of our work together is going to be just a grand slam. So
100%.
this is the beginning of many, many days in the future of us combining our thoughts, our engineering, our downloads that we get, and the information and the way to package it so that we make it fairly simple. And, to your point, oftentimes, we sort of create in the lab when I'm developing devices, it's sort of in a vacuum, right? What's the perfect world? What's the laboratory? But, when we get home, that's really our laboratory. And so when I look at this, I say, well, okay, I can give you the optimal way to do sauna protocol, but what's the practical way? And frankly, if I had to choose, I'd always choose practical because that's going to be your lifestyle choice. And what we're looking to do is really change the narrative. Because how do you expect to have a physical change in the pattern that you're going if you have declining health, unless you change your narrative, like doing a combination of Therasage and EquiLife, right? And the protocols, and then change your narrative, see that change. And in 21 days, to be able to remarkably shift your energy, your sleep patterns, your focus at work, your contribution to your family, to your passion, right? Is really what I think the essence of health, good health is all about, right?
I couldn't agree more. And what we want to just share with everyone is that this is just the beginning, as Robbie just shared. So definitely stay tuned, follow along on both social media channels. We'll link them up below both of these videos. We're definitely starting something that I think is going to be the precipice for what more of the health industry will look like. Taking the best of each individual area, coming together for the greater good of all of our communities so that everyone benefits. So, Robbie, thanks so much for taking this time here today to share all of these new developments with both of our communities. And like I said, I look forward to doing the next one.
Yeah, love it. Thank you.
Take care.